Just have your feet a comfortable distance apart. We're just going to rock the hoop back and forth. Give ourselves a little massage. A little massage for the belly and a little massage for the low back as well. And taking some inhales and sighing out the mouth. Just arriving to your mat for your wellness and your happiness. Perhaps tuning in on what exactly is what keeps you coming to your mat. And touch back in with that reasoning and maybe give it a little smile. And give yourself gratitude for showing up. If you wanted to travel the hoop down or up, you're more than welcome. You can always get some hip movements in as well. Maybe even bring the one hand up, one hand down. Whatever works for you right now. And I'm going to come close and kind of take a peek and see how you're doing. Yay! Awesome. So this is really good for our digestive system. Even if we eat the best, work out, do all the things we're supposed to do, our bodies just need human touch. We need to be physically massaging ourselves. Or if you ever seen one of those massage guns, we just got one and it is like the best thing in the world. So you can maybe walk one foot over to the next and just back and forth, maybe even go around, whatever you want to do. This is just a moment for the hoop to be around the belly and for us to perhaps increase our breathing for a little warm up. And since I know you do hula hoop, you're welcome to get it around the waist and maybe not just going back and forth, but actually hula hooping. Even from there, you can work on your breaks. There you go, twice one way, twice the other way. Let this just be a time to have some fun. Wee-hoo! I taught a hula hoop yoga class this morning, and we did not ever put the hoop around our waist until after class. And I could just tell that there was this one new woman, and she was like, I could just tell she wanted to hula hoop, and she was so happy after putting it around her waist. I'm like, yeah, man, hula hoops just make you smile. Unless you're trying to get a new trick and that doesn't come naturally, and then that, kind of pisses you off a little bit, right? I'll be here for about one more minute, so do whatever you'd like to do. Maybe you even want to pull it up and bring it down. Just let this be your time to hula hoop and just warm up the body. Do 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 do. Mm-mm-mm. 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 I have this entire park to myself, which is really crazy, just to have a whole park to yourself. Do 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 do. And then if you are not hula hooping around the waist, now let's get it around the waist and hula hoop. And bring your hands up to the sky. And just try to feel some length in the sides as you're bringing your hands up and hooping around the waist. It may fall down, and that's okay. Just get yourself back into the cylinder and see what it's like to stretch your arms. Be here for 3, 2, and 1. We'll stop the hoop, hold on to it with both hands on either side, and just put yourself right in the center. Feel those shoulders fall down the back. Feel grounded in the feet. And lift the back of the crown of the head towards the sky, feeling the low back to the crown of the head, getting a little longer, a little lighter. Breathing in and exhaling out. Thinking of this circle as your little bubble. It's said that people can really sense your energy outside of your skin, that you have this aura about you. And there is energy about people, isn't there? And so fill up this hula hoop with what it is that you want to give out into the world. Perhaps starting with exhaling out the mouth so that you feel it just fall over your body, fall into your hoop. And then turning the inhales and exhales slowly out the nose. Feeling the breath travel from the base of the feet, up the legs, all the way through the body. And exhaling that breath back onto yourself. From there, let's go ahead and inhale, reach the hoop above the crown of the head. And exhale, bring that shine all the way down. And do that twice more. Inhale, reach your hands up. Maybe even turn the gaze up as well. And exhale, bring and feel this energy falling over the body. Inhaling back up. And exhale, bring it back down. Inhale, reach the hoop back up to the sky. And then bring it right in front of your body. Cross your right hand over to the left and then the left hand on top of the right hand. So it's really just the wrists that are crossing. Oh, I'm not alone anymore. There's people at the basketball court. Woohoo! Yay! Other people are enjoying their hobbies and things that make them happy too. Woohoo! All right, so your left hand is on top of the right wrist or the right hand, and then we're gonna flip the hoop up to the sky and feel a little openness, reach, and then exhale, bring it back down. Do that again. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, flip it back down. Inhale, reach it up. And exhale, flip it back down. One more that way. Inhale, reach it up. And exhale, flip over. Great. This time, make sure you have enough space so that you can step out with the right foot. We're going to inhale, flip it over. Then exhale, step that right foot out and bring that hoop down. We're going to squat. And then inhale, bring that foot back in and reach up. Exhale, step out and squat. All right. Do that about 6 more times. Exhale. And then go on your own breath. Exhale and step out. Exhale. Bending as deep as you'd like to go. With each time that you step out, maybe you feel that you can step out a little bit further, bend a little bit deeper. And last one. Exhale, step out. Great. Roll that hoop to the right side, then roll it to the left side. Do that a couple more times. And come over to that right side, or I'm sorry, back into the middle, and step that right foot in. Great. Come over to the other side of your mat and cross the right hand over the left now. So inhale, flip the hoop up and over. Exhale, step that left foot out and squat. Inhale, back together. Exhale and squat. Inhale, up and over. Exhale, squat. Inhale, up and over. Exhale, squat. Inhale, get length in the spine. Exhale and dip. Inhale, feel length in the spine. Exhale, step out. Do about 3 more. Once you're back in that squat, maybe walk the feet a little wider, and we'll roll over towards one side and roll over to the other side. Maybe reaching those arms long and getting even a side body extension. And come back to the center. We're going to bend our right knee, straighten the left, and roll over to the right side. And then come back up. Exhale, over tighten leg. Come back up. So bending in the right knee, keeping that left leg straight, and come back up. Notice if you automatically kept the toes on the ground or if you started lifting the toes up to the sky. For the first few, let's keep the toes on the ground of that left leg. And then for these next 5, lift the toes up towards the sky. Try to have the exhale be when you bend over to that knee. I believe this is the 5th one. Go ahead. Inhale and straighten. We're going to go immediately to the other side. Keep that whole right foot planted on the ground. Exhale, bend in the left, roll that hoop over, and then inhale, come back up. Exhale, feel the pubic bone moving back while you are bending in the leg. Exhale. Inhale. Take notice if that knee goes past the toes. And if it does, maybe wiggle that foot out a little bit more. Inner thighs are drawing backward, trying to keep those ribs up, keeping the torso up as much as possible. In these next 5, let's lift the toes. Feel like a little doogity-doo, like you're doing a little rodeo dance, lifting the toe. I don't know what kind of dance. I don't know. Rodeo dance. And then 1 more. Great. Keep the legs wide, but maybe walk them in a little bit. Flip this hoop up and behind you, bringing it back so that it's at your sacrum. So then bring your hands on top of the hoop. The fingertips are looking forward, and then draw those shoulder heads down the back and the elbows towards one another. Keep moving the elbows down and together, and so much so that you feel like the shoulder blades are moving into the very back of the heart to help lift the heart towards the sky. From there, go ahead and exhale, fold from the hips and begin to lean forward and then down. If that hoop falls down, it's okay, just let it fall, or have it just stay right there on your sacrum, kind of just dangling there. And bringing your hands down to the ground. If the hands meet it down at the ground, bend the elbows towards one another and back towards your heels while the head gets heavy. having that sensation that you're planting your hands down and bending the elbows and bringing your head to the ground in a fashion that kind of resembles a headstand, that eventually the head will come down to the earth if it doesn't make it all the way to the earth. And then someday those legs will just float on up to the sky and we'll be doing headstands. So keep drawing those elbows as if there's a magnet between them, drawing them towards one another and in between the legs, and bringing the head towards the earth. Let's bend the knees just slightly. Oh, and that's maybe when you will lose the hoop. Bending the knees just slightly and then bringing those inner thighs back, bringing more weight into the heels. Then from there, slowly straightening the legs while the inner thighs keep drawing towards the wall behind you. Taking a couple more breaths here. Think of pressing down into the feet, making the legs longer, the sit bones move higher to the sky. Go ahead and bring your hands to your hips or onto the hoop if it's still there, and then raise all the way back up. Great. So with our legs wide, I'll try my best. No, I'm actually not going to mirror today. Let's go ahead, turn the right foot towards the short end of the mat, and then lift that left heel and draw it back. We're going to find warrior two. You may even be, a lot of people are pretty surprised at how wide their warrior two actually can be. So just finding how wide of a distance is good for you. And then hug that back hip in and start bending into that right leg. If that knee, again, if it goes past the toes, then walk that foot out more. But you want to stay and keep planted in that back foot. So here, if you have those cactus arms, you're more than welcome to stay here with the cactus arms if that feels good to you. Or go ahead and extend the right arm out and then possibly extend that left hand back and bringing that hoop right there to the armpit of the right arm. Staying here for a few breaths. And bring that right hand into the hoop. Inhale, straighten both legs. And then do warrior two on the left leg. So finding warrior two here, and exhale, we'll bend on into it. Finding the best arm placement for you, either keeping them at the cactus arms or extending the arms out. We'll be here for about 6 breaths. Let this be a time where you're just feeling the pose, seeing how can you make it a little bit more honest. This steering wheel for our ribs are here to help us have our ribs be parallel to the long side of the mat. But this back hip is slightly pointing in to that bent leg. Your next inhale, go ahead and come back up, straighten the legs. Go back to warrior two, bending the right one. Inhale, straighten the legs, bend into the left one. And we'll go back to the right. We're going to do this 3 more times on each side. Come back to center. Exhale to the left. Inhale to center. Exhale to the right. And last one each way. Come to center. Turn those right toes to the short end, finding the warrior two again on that right side. If your arms are getting tired, just let the hula hoop just fall into the shoulders or get rid of it. I know that you've done a lot with the aerial today, and nothing's harder than aerial. So go ahead and Find whatever is best for you, but starfish those arms out if that's okay to do. Then hug that right hip in and slowly lean over to the right side. Maybe touch the toe, maybe come to the ankle, or maybe just right there to the shin. Then we'll come on up. And that hip, bring it back. We're going to do that 6 times. So hinge at the hip, lean back forward and down. And inhale, straighten, and let that hip just come right back. Then go ahead, we'll find 5 more. Really hug that right hip in when you come out to this triangle pose. I don't know, I lost count because I was smiling at the UPS man. I think if we do one more, then we'll definitely have done the 6. Come back up. And then we'll do all of that onto the other side. All right. Hug the left hip in. So that with each time, well, one, it just feels good to get those hips back to center. But then with each time you find your triangle pose, hopefully you'll notice a little bit more opening by number 6 versus number 1. And one more. Great. Come back to center. Turn the toes out and flip this hoop up and over. Let's just bring our forearms onto the hoop when we bend on into those legs. Let this feel like the top part of your body is relaxing. Maybe roll those shoulders, but those legs are still working. You're still thinking of that inner thigh wrapping around to the outer hips, those outer hips hugging into your middle. Really even think while you're bending here that those outer legs are drawing in towards your pelvic, while the inner thighs are drawing around to the outer hips. So it's this external rotation of our legs that's pretty subtle, it feels, until you keep bending a little deeper. Keep hugging those hips in. And 3 more breaths here. And come back up. Turn those toes to the front and heel toe them back in. Great. So we'll come to the top of our mat. Maybe if you grip in the toes at all or grip in the feet, take a moment and just get those legs, get those feet back. Maybe do some ankle rolls or whatever. And then we'll get back to the front of our mat. While here, bring the left foot back. The right foot is right behind that hoop. Bring your hands on top of the hoop. Let the tailbone get heavy. So it's almost as if you're bringing the pubic bone forward to the hoop. And then raise your ribs up and find just a little teeny tiny back bend, creating a lot of space in the front body, more space in the left side body than the right. But let this just be a moment of stretching your core, especially if you've been doing aerial silks. I bet your core kind of feels engaged, right? I'm sure it probably does. If not, it will. Come on out. Bring that left foot forward, that right foot back. Get on those tiptoes of that back foot. And go ahead and reach the heart up. Turn the gaze skyward. Bring those elbows down towards the ribs and get a nice little back bend here. Even when that tailbone is heavy and that pubic bone is moving forward, those inner thighs are still trying to move back towards that tailbone. Slowly come on out. Great. While here, holding on to the hoop with both hands, more so the pinkies than the pointer fingers. Draw those shoulders down the back. Feel them begin to squeeze in towards your spine. Then we'll inhale, reach the fingertips to the sky. Exhale, hinge at the hips and bring the hoop to the tops of the thighs. Forward folding. Inhale, come on up to a flat back. Keeping a bend in the knees is always okay. Exhale, will come down. We're going to do that 3 more times. Inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, down. Inhale, reach up. Feel length in the back body. The front ribs are to the back ribs. Exhale, down. And 1 more. Inhale on up. And exhale. We'll come down. Hold onto the hoop with both hands. We'll come up to stand where the hoop will just frame our body, frame our face, and then lift the hoop to the sky. Exhale, forward fold. Bring the hoop to the top of your thighs and fold on over. Inhale to flat back. Exhale and fold. Feeling those sit bones high. Hold onto the hoop with both hands and we'll lift back up. The hoop just frames the body. And then reach the hoop to the sky. This will be the last time we do that. Go ahead and reach the hoop forward and to the thighs. Get heavy on the big toe side of the feet. Inhale, halfway rise. Bring more weight into the inner heels. Exhale and fold. Hold on to the hoop with both hands. Come on up. And exhale. Just bring the hoop down to the ground. Great. So go ahead and find chair pose, bringing our feet towards one another. Maybe they touch, maybe the big toes touch, and if there's space, cool. In between the toes is fine. Go ahead and sit back, the hips moving back and down. The tailbone gets heavy so that we try to make that spine nice and as straight as it can be. So the core has to engage to help keep that spine nice and engaged, or nice and straight. From there, we'll pick up the hoop, stretch it forward, and then up towards the sky. Really reaching the pinkies towards the sky, reaching the pinkies up and even as if they're trying to move towards one another. Your next exhale, go ahead and bring the pubic bone back, heart forward, and then bring the hoop to the tops of the thighs and fold over. Inhale, bring the fingertips to the top of the hoop. Step the left foot back first. We're going to get to this high lunge, so make sure that that foot's as far as it should be. Really hug this front hip in and back. Allow yourself to first take a moment just to really feel that back leg. Let's come up onto the tippy toes and then reach the inner thigh back towards the heels and feel more of a bend. Inhale and bring that thigh up towards the sky and think of the inner groin moving back towards the inner heel as that back hip moves forward. Do that 2 more times. Inhale and lift. Exhale, bend. Once more. Then cross your left over right at the wrist, and we'll flip that hoop up and over, reaching the hands to the sky, even getting a little teeny tiny back bend. Think of this as your crescent lunge. If you start to lean over towards the right, again, hug that hip in, try to make the hips level and square. And exhale, flip the hoop forward. Lift on those back toes and step that foot forward. Come to chair pose, reach the hoop forward and up, Bending those inner thighs, drawing towards the ground, tailbone heavy towards the heels. Go ahead and exhale, reach the booty back, and then fold over the legs. Inhale to flat back. And exhale, we'll step that right foot back and find where exactly is the best placement for you. Trying to keep that knee over the heel of that front foot. Then coming up to those tiptoes of that back foot and finding the lift and the exhale to almost as if your legs are scissors. Inhaling, lift that thigh up and really pay attention to the inner groin, drawing towards that back heel. Do this about 3 more times. And get nice and sturdy. Feel really planted in that back foot and the front foot as well. Cross the right hand over the left. So think of that inner thigh or that back leg as turning in and extending towards that back heel so that that back hip moves forward. From here, we'll lift the hoop up and over, reaching the hands towards the sky, getting length in the side body, and finding a little teeny tiny back bend. Tailbone heavy of that back leg. One more breath here. And we'll flip that over to the top of the mat and get ready to step that back foot, boop, forward. Great. Bending in both of the legs. Bringing the hoop right out in front of you. We're going to do that once more on each leg. So go ahead, fold over the hoop. Right here, while we're bending over the hoop, think of the inner thighs drawing away from one another. Inhale, come to flat back. Exhale, step that left foot back. Cross the left over right. Inhale, reach the arms up and over. Smiling, lengthen the legs. Or at least that back one. And flip the hoop over. Forward fold. Let's go ahead and just fold over the hoop. Inhale to flat back. Exhale, step that left foot back. Cross the right over left. Inhale, reach the hoop up and over. Even feel free to sing along. It kind of makes the pose more fun. Flip the hoop over. Step that back foot. Boop. Forward, forward fold. Let's bring our feet a little wider than they are. As wide as the mat sounds good. And then just sway right to left, right to left. And then cross the right arm over the left arm. And in a fashion, I'll go like this so you can see. But however, it depends on your arm length and your hula hoop width. So just cross them however good you know what feels good to you. But crossing the right over left and drawing those arms towards one another, bringing the shoulders back so that you're using this hoop into that hip crease. I'm feeling a stretch in the shoulder blades. And then we'll just reverse and cross the left over right. And from here, draw the shoulder heads towards your wrists, like down, so that we can get more of a stretch in those shoulder blades. And then bring the shoulder heads back and feel the shoulder blades draw down the back, which in this case right now seems as though they're moving up towards the hips. And release that effort. Bring your hands to the top of the hoop and come all the way up. Right. I really bent my hoop that time. Go ahead and step your feet together. There was one move I wanted to do, and I'm trying to remember which one it was. And I had it right before. Anyways, I can't think of it, so I'm going to do it at the next class. But what we're going to do now is a little bit of ab work, but standing ab work. So bringing your hands to 11 and 1 or 12 and 12, or maybe the cactus arms. But feel lengthen the side body. And then exhale, get planted in that right foot and bring the left knee in towards the chest. Inhale up, exhale, bring it in. Use the exhale to really feel the core engage. Use the inhale to feel extension in the body. I'm going to do this about 30 times. So use the inhale, exhale, and then let's go and maybe pick up the pace. But if you need to do a different pace, please do so. And if this is really hard to balance, then instead just bring the hoop next to your body and one hand up, one hand down. Whatever you need to do. But with every outstretch, we're making more space, more space. And turning on our core, turning on our creativity. You're already such a creative soul, Sylvia. I love looking and seeing all of your art that you create. Let's really burn that center. In 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Inhale, reach the arms. Inhale, hold the breath. Feel the inhale, holding of the breath move up. And exhale, and release. Before we do the second side, step our legs wide again. Oh, excuse me, bee. Yeah, it is not a flower, I promise. So we're going to have bend back into that right knee, roll the hula hoop over to the right knee, keep the left foot on the ground. The toes are slightly pointed out towards the left. From there, you might want to bring your hand onto your knee, perhaps, maybe your elbow. And then here, think of the inner thighs drawing back, pubic bone down. And hug that left hip in. This is the time to really stretch that inner thigh of that left leg right now. Maybe noticing I'm kind of moving up and down. If you want to find stillness, you're welcome to do that. I think both have their place, with stillness and movement. And then here, now let's turn the toes up towards the sky. And come back up to center. We'll heel toe those feet back in. Great. Flip the hoop up and over. Or if you already know, like, nope, I need that hoop for balance, I'm going to only use one hand, then great, then put it onto the outside of that left leg. Cactus arms, hands at 11 and 1 or noon, whatever works for you is perfect. If you did something last time, doesn't mean you have to do the exact same thing this time. You're really grounded in that left foot. Get the weight out of the right one. Then inhale, lift up. Exhale, inhale, lift. Exhale, bring that knee in. We'll do it slow for the first 10 or so. You can either bring that foot just right next to the standing foot, or maybe reach it back. Either one is great. next to the foot or back. And then if you'd like to join me of increasing the pace, go ahead. If not, I apologize for inhaling and exhaling loudly to a different rhythm. Using your breath to really engage that core. If you use the inhale and exhale out the nose, that's breath of fire, which is ironic, isn't it, that we're creating a fire in our core with the assistance of the breath of fire. Breath. If one of the outer hips is starting to burn, just tell it we'll be there. Right now is your strengthening time. We feel you outer hips. We feel you hip crease. We feel you hip flexors, everything, hips and legs and core. And 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Oh, feel the buzz. Walk your feet wide. Have the toes be pointing out just slightly. And bend into that right leg, keeping the whole, bend into the left leg, keeping the whole right foot on the ground. Bending is just as much as you would like. You can keep your hands on the hoop or bring that elbow into the thigh. And while you're here, hugging that outstretched hip in and feeling the thigh pressing back. Staying for a few breaths. And turn those right toes towards the sky. And slowly come on up. Heel toe those feet together. Great. We're going to find our outer hip stretch. But not yet. Well, kind of. We're going to find tree pose. So bring that hoop to the outside of that left foot. Bring the heel of the right foot either to the calf or all the way up into the inner thigh. Wherever it is, press that foot into the leg into the foot, and that press, that compression of pushing together helps open up this inner thigh of that lifted leg. The knees moving back, but don't let those hips move back with it. You got it. If you wanted to move forward, you can either reach one of the arms up to the sky, or maybe you bring that hoop behind you and lift both arms up to the sky. Whatever you choose to do is perfect for today. And try to think of that standing leg getting longer, the torso getting longer. And then bring that hoop down if you brought it up to the outside of that standing leg. Turn that knee in and out, stretch it out in front of you. Great. From here, we're going to bring that foot behind you. We're going to bring that hoop behind us as well. I'm just moving so that you can see. We're going to pick up that foot with that hoop and walk this hoop up towards the head. From here, bring that knee forward of that lifted leg. Bring it forward so that it's in line with the standing leg. Whoop. Then from there, we'll begin to hinge at the hips and begin to now lift that foot up towards the sky, finding dancer's pose, reaching the shin back while lifting the foot to the sky. If you need to bend the knee of that standing leg, it can help with balance. As I say that, I lose my balance. And stay there for 2 on 1. And slowly bring that foot back down and meet it with the left one. Before we move over to the other side, bend both knees, bring that right knee up and cross it over the left knee. From there, draw the hips back, the thighs back, and bend into that standing leg a little bit more. So up to you where you want to place this hoop. If you keep it here, great. Or maybe you bring it out in front of you. High balance. And just keep bending on in. Think of those outer hips hugging into the middle while the pubic bone moves back. And you're sitting into your seat. The more active that lifted foot is, you'll begin to feel it more in that outer hip. I'll be quiet for the next 6 breaths or so, depending how long your breaths are. Last breath. And slowly coming on up. And bring that foot back onto the ground. Take a breath or 2 and just feel yourself, feel your legs. And then we'll bring that hoop to the outside of the right leg. Turn the toes of the left foot out and then walk that heel to wherever is best on that leg, just not the knee. Just not the knee. From there, using the force of pressing the thigh into the foot, foot into the thigh, or wherever it is on the leg, to help open up that inner thigh of that lifted leg, drawing it back, keeping those hip bones pointing forward. And just notice what's going on with the upper body as well. And think of the back body moving to the front body and the front body to the back body. To provide more length in the whole body, think of your grounding, and wherever the weight is in the feet, can you think of pressing down into the ground and getting more length in the legs all the way up to the crown of the head. And whatever you did last time doesn't mean you'll do it again, but maybe lift one arm, or maybe bring the hoop all the way up to the sky. And bring that hoop back to the ground. Turn the lifted knee to the front, extend out through the heel. And slowly bring that foot on down. We only have a couple more minutes until 6:30. I'm just going to finish you with the same thing that we did on this last side. And then you can have Shavasana on your own, or maybe you even just want to hula hoop instead, or just take a rest. Whatever it is, but we'll go ahead and find that dancer's pose with the hoop lifting the foot to the sky and then folding at the hips, leaning forward with the low belly first. Lifting that foot to the sky and reaching those hands to the sky as well. Depends all where you are. Um, It's like I could see you a little bit throughout the class, but I need to get closer to see you as good as I just did. We'll stay here for 3 and 2 and 1. Slowly bring that hoop back down. Cross that left foot over the right leg. And find your, I call this the number 4 position. Some people call it thread the needle, but I think thread the needle is when we're on our back and we do this position. And find whatever is best placement for you. It's so often that this hip just will move out. So hug that standing hip in and bend it into those legs, keeping that lifted foot active. If you have a free hand, you're welcome to see what this is like as well. If you press the hand into the knee, let the hand win. So the knee kind of moves down. And then press the knee into the hand and let the knee win. So the knee will kind of lift up a bit. And you can kind of do that a couple times if you like that sensation. One more breath here. And go ahead and come back up. Reach the feet wide. And I'll end here with you today of just bringing our hands to these cactus arms, catching those back ribs, lifting the heart to the sky. And then we'll exhale, just let that hip move in, lean over, and then come back up. And let the other hip really hug, and then let the top hip pop up to the sky. Let me just do that 3 more times. 1, 2, 3. I don't know why I said 3. We're doing 4 times. 4. Come back up and release the hoop. You're welcome to find Shavasana here. Find anything else that you need to do, or perhaps bring it around your waist and have a good old time. Hula, dooley, doopin'. But I want to be respectful of time, so I'm going to end the video, and I thank you, and I love you, and I hope you have a great